My name is Mike. I am a second-year graduate student at Illinois State University. I did my undergrad here, which means I've been here for 6 years, and it is the place that I consider like my real home. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago originally, but this place has a lot. I did a lot of growing here, and it is a place that when I leave next year or at the end of this year is going to be very hard to let go of. Well, when I was applying to go to college when I was a high school student, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I really didn't even want to go to college, So, fun fact, I was enrolled at Purdue University until August 8th of the year, you're supposed to go to school. And I had my classes, my schedule, my roommate, my books, all that stuff, but I wasn't packing. And my dad and I, who weren't close at the time, my dad walks in my room and he goes, "Aren't you gonna pack for school?" And I was like, tears come out, and we weren't close, like I said, but he was being a really good dad that day, and he was like, "What is wrong?" And I was like, "I just don't want to go." And he was like, "Well, why not?" And I was like, "I just don't think it's where I'm supposed to be." And he's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know what I want to do, that's the problem." And he was like, "Well, what do you enjoy doing?" And I was like, "Well, I like doing speech team." And he was like, "Well, can you do that in college?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, then you should maybe just start there if you don't know what you want to do." And I said, "Well, okay." He's like, "Can you do that somewhere here?" And I was like, "Yeah, at ISU is the only place that I would want to do it." And so I called ISU up. I don't even know what number I called. I literally called the university. Someone answered the phone. I was like, "Hello, can I come to school there?" And they were like, "Well, did you apply?" And I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Did you get in?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And they're like, "Sure, come on down." And so it was like August 9th, I was enrolled here, and I came here to do the speech team, and I really found myself here. Well, like I said, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and for the first year I was here, I was a really terrible student. I put all of my effort into speech, and I started to grow as a person, emotionally, and just having experiences with people that I've never had when I was living in, near Chicago. And I thought I wanted to be a speech coach, and to do that I had to go to grad school, and to do that I had to become a better student. And through that, I learned that I really like learning, something that I didn't know, because I didn't like it in high school, and I didn't like it my first year here, but I love it, and that's what I want to do with the rest of my life, is I want to continue to go to school and then educate others in school. My happiest moment here?
At any point.
Wow. That's a fun question. It's a hard question. Probably, I don't know if this is my happiest moment, but this is definitely probably, if it's not it, I don't know what else it is. Like I said, I came here to do speech team, and it was a very important thing for me for 4 years. And the last tournament of my senior year, nationals, my senior year, I was blessed with having 3 national finals, which is, most people don't even break at nationals ever in their life. So to have that success really meant a lot. And the last one that I did was duo interpretation, which is between 2 people. It's the only event that you do with another person. And me and my duo partner had a blast in that round, and we just had the time of our lives. And I thought that was going to be the coolest thing. And I also was like, why am I in this duo final? This was very random. It was just a lot of a combination of everything. And I thought, we'd get 5th or 6th and just have fun being there. And we won nationals. And the moment that I think I was the happiest was when they called second place and it wasn't us. And we just got to hold hands in front of an auditorium of 500 people, 1,000 people. And it was awesome. Again, it goes back to the speech team. Those were, the people that I was closest with, and they are my friends. And it's really interesting because a lot of them, after you graduate sometimes, especially with comm degrees, that they don't really know what they want to do, so they end up working at State Farm. And so the friends that I made, my first 2 years here are still the people that I see all the time. They're my network and support system here. And through them, I was able to navigate the community. And that's why I feel like this is my home and not like where I went to college. It's because a lot of the things we do, I don't do things like on campus all the time. Like I like to go to a local bar that only like townies hang out in at a strip mall in Bloomington, you know? Like it's not a normal college experience. This is where I live.
So are you going to stay?
Well, you know, I'm applying to PhD programs, right? And so I'm applying to 4. And I obviously would only go if I got funding because like I don't got no money. But there is a large, significant part of me that maybe thinks I should take a couple of years to think about it and just stay because I love it here. And I love the people that I have here. And it's scary to think that I won't be near them.
Do you see yourself living here long term at some point?
I mean, maybe. You know, if I could get a job that I liked here, I wouldn't mind living here. You know, we always joke, my circle of friends, like, normal, it's boring, we don't do anything. But like I imagine like going to another place and then going to like a city or like a different town, and then I think normal's not too bad. My biggest accomplishment for me, I think, is my academics. Especially like my first semester of grad school, I was really scared that I wasn't going to be able to like do it actually, because I was a mass media major, so that means I know how to work a soundboard, but no one ever taught me how to like write academically. Like no one ever explained to me what a lit review was, and so I'm sitting in these classes and I'm really nervous. Like I'm reading and I'm understanding, but I'm really nervous about like writing. And so my biggest accomplishment, I think, is being actually able to like be a hashtag scholar or like a grad student, you know? I didn't think I could do it, and I think I tend to be a pretty okay one. When I took Dr. Baldwin's qualitative class and I started writing for him, and he really enjoyed my writing and pushed me to do like more, and like really just took the time to like explain things that no one else had taken the time to do. And I don't know, his support was the reason that I think I can do this. Yeah, okay. So, my parents, the day they got divorced was like the best day ever, because it was clearly these two people need to not live together anymore, and I need to not live with them. So they created this toxic environment in our home. So I didn't have a good relationship with him or her. They finally got divorced my senior year of high school. And so they're like, well, you can go to your mom's and this and this. I was like, all right, look, I'm going to college in like T-minus 2 seconds. So I'm staying here. I don't care who's moving where. I'll see you later. And we didn't have a really good relationship because no one in my family did. And it really took me moving away to understand that I did want a relationship with both my parents. And it has improved, probably because I don't live in the same place as them.
So how do you think it's going to affect you in the future when it comes time for you to have children?
Oh, God. I don't want children, but if I were to have children, I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably be a terrible parent that would, like, never take them to see their grandparents.
Tell me your saddest moment thus far.
Thus far? Huh. Saddest moment thus far. Probably, so I've really only had, like, one real, like, relationship in my life, and it was a significant amount of time. It was probably, like, 2-ish, if not more years, that we spent together in some capacity, and at the end of my senior year here, we were done, and it was fine. And I had done some things that I probably shouldn't have done, and he'd never known about those things. But one day when he was not where I was, he was texting me, and he was like, "I found out some things about you that I really don't like right now." And he had found out about my you know, these things that I had done to him, and he was so angry with me, and he like said really hurtful things that I'd never like heard come out of him, and he just said, "I'd never want to speak to you again." And you know, we ended the relationship not because I wanted to like never see him or talk to him again. It's just, you know, I knew that it wasn't going to work out romantically, but I still cared about him. Mm-hmm. And so probably the saddest moment is when he told me he didn't want to speak to me ever again, and I thought that I would never get to speak to him again, because he's still a very good friend. I mean, we worked it out eventually, but at the time, you know, I didn't speak to him for like 4 months, and it was hard. So I wrote him a letter, and it was basically, I tried to dialogue about my feelings, which I hate like doing because I hate feelings. And I was just very honest, and we were going to be at a wedding together that summer. Not together, but at the same wedding. And, you know, before the wedding, he contacted me and was like, "We can be civil, right?" And I was like, "Yes," and that opened a dialogue.
Tell me about your biggest struggle. You had to actually something you had to actually overcome, or that you think you might have to.
I feel very fortunate because I feel like I haven't had like a lot of life struggles like a lot of people. And I hate boiling it down to like something so trivial in my eyes, but like, I mean, figuring out like my sexual orientation was kind of hard. But even then I was just like, maybe I'll try this. And it was more like when I came to college, I was so just like lost as a person in general, because all of my time went to figuring out how to avoid my home, because I never wanted to be in my home, because I hated living with my parents and I hated the environment they created. I didn't have time to think about any aspect of me, not just my sexual orientation, but like things like I didn't have an identity. It felt like my identity was attached to their crazy. And so I guess the struggle would be just becoming a whole person. I don't think I was a person before I came here.
Yeah.
And that, you know, includes, you know, kissing boys sometimes.
You made it sound so nonchalant, and for some people that's a huge hurdle to get through, to kind of figure out who you're gonna end up loving someday.
Yeah.
All right, how did you get through it? Like what did you do to kind of to figure out that that's who you are?
Well, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. So I had never like even thought about like romantic life when I was in high school. Like that was not a thing on my mind. Like I forgot that existed basically. So when I came here, I was like, I can do whatever I want. Wow. And so, you know, you typical freshman, you go out and you like drink and like make out with some girls, or maybe like, you know, fool around or whatever, and I was doing that. It was like fine, and then I started to realize that I was like kind of attracted to men too, and I was like, that's kind of weird. That kind of makes sense. I don't know, and I didn't really think about it that much. And then I had like a consistent like friends with benefits type of thing with this one young lady, and one night we had sex, and after that, I don't even know, like I can't even tell you. I was like done, and I was like, huh, yeah, that's I like boys. I actually told her that like right there in the moment, and I regret that probably, but I was literally just like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna go anywhere else.
And how did she react? How did she react to that?
Oh God. She reacted like you might expect. She obviously left my dorm room, and she was actually on the speech team, so we were forced to figure that out quickly. We are still friends now, but it took us a while to figure out how to rearrange that relationship. Oh, I'm very good. I mean, like, you know, I'm single, but like, I'm good. I have a very liberal view on sexual orientation. You know, when people ask me like, what is your sexual orientation, I don't feel like going into all my beliefs. I just say I'm gay. But honestly, I hate identifying as that. I would prefer to identify as queer, just because I don't feel like the definition that a lot of people give, like gay, is something that I fit into. I mean, like I just said, I've had sex with women, I've done other things with women, and sometimes I even find myself attracted to a woman, but I wouldn't either consider myself bisexual. It's just, kiss who I want, man.
Yeah. So fill me in on the actual like, terminology of queer. I'm actually kind of curious. So what does that actually entail? Like, how do you kind of fit in that category?
Well, queer is such a hard word. Like, even like people who are like in the know, like even more than me, struggle with the word queer. But
right, I think it has like a negative connotation. Like whenever I hear it,
it does, right? And I think a lot of people think it does. But queer is just a way to describe your sexual orientation in a way without using an official label. Because personally, I think sexuality is a continuum, right? You're not just purely gay or straight for most people. Yeah, maybe those people exist, but I think those are outliers. For me, I think in this world, those are outliers. And I'm somewhere along this scale. So queer is just a way for me to describe my outlook.
What would you want me to tell whoever sees this video about you?
Honestly, I think I would want you to tell them that for all of like the connotations that come along with Normal, Illinois, this college town run by State Farm and Country that's just in the middle of a cornfield, I want you to tell them that you met someone who was like raised here, not just like went to college here, who like credits this town for making him a person.